CGC 1D. Unit 1, Study Guide Questions. Answer the following questions. The questions will help you prepare for the final exam at the end of the semester. Name the capital cities for each Canadian province and territory. Province/territory. Capital city. British Columbia. Victoria.
Okay, so if any of you have trouble your information, the immersive reader is awesome. And it does a really good job of actually doing the reading for you. What?
Sure, but can you change the
Who cares? Who cares? Why would you care what the voice was? That's not. No, it's not important. Don't care about that. Care about that there's an amazing tool that will help with your reading. Who cares what it sounds like? You want something that works well, right? And you can jump down into your program anywhere. So I hit play.
What are the names of the 3 oceans that surround Canada?
Okay. Now if you need, you can pause it. Okay. And then try to think about it. Do I know the names of those? Okay.
The Atlantic Ocean, east. The Pacific Ocean, west. The Arctic Ocean, north.
Okay. So that's the.
What is the difference between?
Okay. Just hit the back to exit the reader, and it takes you back to the geographer's toolkit, or back to the page that was created. Okay.
contour line?
All right. So that was Unit 1. Okay. Again, I'm going to share this document with you when I'm all done, so that we have it. Yesterday we started Unit 2, our Earth's processes. Okay. Let's take a look at what we have so far. Okay, I have one piece that I need to get rid of. I'm just gonna click on. Where's my? Draw. I just want to delete.
That's on the board.
No, it's on my board that I made.
It looks like it's on the
Yeah, I know. It just looks like. Right, there we go. Okay, so yesterday, if you remember what I did, I took our title for our unit. So Earth's processes. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. Again, I'm just kind of messing around with things, trying to get the way that I want. And you can always change it, okay? Like, just because I'm doing it one way doesn't mean you have to do it this way, okay? But I'm just trying to give you some suggestions, okay? A title is usually big. Why is a title usually big? Alex?
So we know what the title is.
Yeah, and the title usually gives you a clue about what comes next, right? And as a learner, as someone that's trying to learn, it's important to know what's coming next. Okay, that will help you. Okay, so I have unit. And I did lesson number 1. Okay, our stuff that we do is broken into lessons. Okay, I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger too. So lesson 1 was the basic structures of Earth. Emily, this is kind of for you to know. We went through our whole lesson together. We went through this lesson like a month ago, essentially. Okay. But yesterday we went back through it. We started looking at it again, trying to pull out the most important information. Okay? So it says the Earth is dynamic. It is always changing. Okay? Ahmed, do you remember what dynamic meant?
changing.
Yeah, it's there. The hint is there, right? It's always changing. Dynamic is just a fancy way of saying that something is changing. Do you know what the opposite of dynamic is? What? You know, the opposite of another fancy word for not changing? Yeah.
Like could be like invisible.
No, and so it's called static.
I'm static.
Yeah. So the opposite of dynamic is static. Yeah.
If you look the other way, a shadow looks like it's showing your brain.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not too concerned about that.
Oh.
All right. So the Earth is dynamic. It is always changing. We found out. We were reminded that there are 4 layers of Earth. The 4 layers of Earth are crust, mantle, inner core, and outer core. Okay, those are the 4 layers of Earth. we answered some major questions. So what are some forces building the Earth? Okay? So we found out that constructive forces are crustal deformation, volcanic eruption, and deposition of sediment. Then we found that the destructive forces are weathering and erosion. And now, funny enough, we did lessons on all of these things. Okay? So I drew an arrow to lesson 2 because volcanoes were listed as a constructive force. Okay, so that's your connection. So what are the constructive force? You think of the lessons that we did. Okay, so we did volcanoes, we did glaciers. Okay, we've talked a little bit about tectonic plates and things like that. Okay, Lloyd.
Fun fact about volcanoes, they created this world.
Right.
I made here.
So stop, because that's right. That's what we've been talking about, right?
They're also extremely dangerous and can kill a bunch of
So
people.
they can,
But they're
absolutely.
good because they created everything.
They also provide gases and different minerals that like our planet needs. So they can be very destructive. They can cause a lot of damage. They can certainly cause death. It makes them kind of scary, but they do also put gases into the air that the environment does need. They also provide like fertilizer for different soil and things like that. The ash that comes out of them is actually great, can be great for growing. But yeah, so that's volcanic eruptions. Okay, we're lesson 2. So number 2, it says, what impacts do volcanoes have on climate? So we found out that they can cause global cooling. They have the potential to promote global warming. So they can do both, right? They can be good and bad. That's important to know. Okay, volcanoes have positive impacts and volcanoes have negative impacts. Okay, so I'm just going to put that actually as a little note off to the side because that might be important for me to know sometime down the line. Oh, sorry, I just wanted to link to this. So I'm just going to type in. So volcanoes have positive and negative impacts. And I'm just going to drag this over. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Look for this pen. Sorry, the wrong thing. Three was what connections might there be between continental drift and climate? So, something like how far away a continent is from the equator will impact the climate. Okay, and how did the continent get there? It was part of continental drift, right? Absolutely. Okay. So again, we're just working through the different lessons. Now, again, I drew an arrow down to lesson 2 for volcanoes, just reminding us that a volcano is a constructive force. Okay? Volcano is a constructive force. That's important. Okay? Again, what does a constructive force mean?
Build.
Oh, Dante first.
Building.
It's building, yeah, thank you. Okay, it's building the earth. So a constructive force, it's like the word construction. Okay? We're building something. So a constructive force is building the earth. A destructive force is breaking things down. Okay?
Question.
Yeah.
Volcanoes were forming the earth. Did dinosaurs exist?
No.
Okay,
No,
when did they come into play?
I don't actually know the timelines like by years, but in our, like, volcanoes essentially have always been here,
Yeah.
okay? So there were volcanoes at the same time as the dinosaurs, excuse me, but when we're talking about the Earth being created, we're talking billions and billions of years ago. And it was like volcanoes everywhere.
Before the dinosaurs.
Well before the dinosaurs, well before people.
Okay.
So it's hard to imagine in one sense, but like the Earth, if our whole Earth timeline was measured like from the start to now, okay, like we're human like people are like here. Like our timeline is at the very end, right? Like we're living it now. We've also only been here for a little while. There's billions of years ahead of, like, before us.
We've been here since year 1.
Well, we were here before that too,
No,
because we.
it goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 2021.
But think about that. We didn't even invent numbers. And numbers wasn't the first thing we invented. So people were here before that, right?
Yeah.
I remember you said you were a speck on Earth's timeline.
Yeah, like we are a speck.
Didn't we invent weapons
Of course.
first?
Yeah, of course. Earth in a matter of moments compared to how long the Earth has been around, right? We're going to do so much damage in a short amount of time. It's crazy.
Well, how long has the dinosaurs been?
Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, but they weren't very long either.
Probably, like, I would say